Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Eska089 and says, am I the arsehole for refusing to cook after my boyfriend tried to critique my cooking with a literal PowerPoint presentation? So this happened a few days ago, and I'm still trying to process it. For context, I, 28 female, have been with my boyfriend, 30 male, for about 2 years. We live together and I've always done most of the cooking because I genuinely enjoy it. And he claims he can't even boil water without setting off the smoke alarm. The other night I made one of our favourite meals, and while we were eating, he got a weird smirk on his face. He then says, you know, I've been taking notes. I laughed, thinking he was joking, but then he said, no, really, I made a presentation. I still thought it was a joke until he got up, connected his laptop to the TV, and opened a PowerPoint titled, Improving Our Home Dining Experience. I was in disbelief as he went slide by slide, critiquing my dishes. Slide 1, too much garlic. Slide 2, pasta consistency. Slide 3, more salt, less sass. The kicker was slide 8, which was just a photo of Gordon Ramsay facepalming with a caption, what he'd think. I was stunned. I told him if he had such detailed opinions, he should cook himself. He tried to backtrack, saying it was all in good fun, that he was just trying to help. But I wasn't laughing. I haven't cooked since, and now he's been living off cereal and takeout. He's sulking, saying I'm overreacting and ruining the joke. So Reddit, am I the arsehole for refusing to cook after my boyfriend presented me with a PowerPoint critique of my cooking? Am I smelling a bit of weaponized incompetence here? The guy can't boil water. Yeah, right. And look, I'm someone that's very much, we all got to learn somewhere, right? We all got to start somewhere, but this guy is just taking the piss, isn't he, really? This dude's got the time to create a PowerPoint presentation, yet he can't go on YouTube for 2 minutes and look how to boil water? Come on now. And I actually went to check see if there is videos on boiling water. There is. But Wiggle Pie says not the arsehole. In quotes, he claims he can't even boil water without setting off the smoke alarm, then says if he had time to make a PowerPoint, he has time to learn to cook. Bluff City Tata says this. I had a boyfriend in college. He was a really nice guy, but his mum did his laundry. Not let him use her machines, but actually did his laundry for him, while she cooked him dinner. One time he said to me, if we get married, you'll have to do all the ironing because I don't know how. I replied in a deadpan voice, I'll teach you. Needless to say, he didn't like that. I was thinking, dude, I don't iron my own clothes. What makes you think I'm going to iron yours? If you're bright enough to make it into college, you can figure out how to iron something. It's not rocket science. Reddit Lurker says, I'd make a presentation about how he can move the fuck out and cook alone in his new bachelor pad. Why are you tolerating this? Do you want your bar so low the occupants of hell trip on it? Couldn't he have used that time to learn how to boil water? The weaponizing competence in this one is staggering. A shame director says, yeah, no. My ex was the same. He'd absolutely decimate me about something. Could be anything. Cooking, eating, what I wore, my makeup, literally anything. And when I got upset or fought back, every single time I got verbatim, fuck's sake, can you not take a fucking joke? I can't fucking say anything like, every single time. You'll notice I said X. Cook for yourself, let him eat cereal until he can understand he was wrong and why. It very may well have been a joke, because I really can't see anyone being so far gone that they would think a PowerPoint presentation would be the way to go here. But as soon as you realize you didn't actually find it funny, he should have backed down. Shit, sorry, I was trying to be funny but it didn't land. I'm so sorry. Dinner is actually really great and I appreciate you cooking all the time. I'd starve without you type thing. So then OP came in with her update and said, hey Reddit, so it's been a wild ride since I posted my original story about my, now ex, boyfriend's infamous PowerPoint presentation critiquing my cooking. I can't thank you enough for all the support, laughs, and even the outrage on my behalf. Buckle up, because here's the follow-up you didn't know you needed. After reading your comments and taking some time to process what happened, I decided that our relationship needed a serious talk. I sat him down to discuss how his presentation came across as not just unfunny, but pretty disrespectful. You know, typical mature relationship stuff. Well, what does he do? He smirks and goes, "Oh, I was prepared for this." He actually grabs his laptop, connects it to the TV again, and presents me with another PowerPoint titled, "How to Take a Joke, a Comprehensive Guide." Yes, folks, he made a whole slideshow explaining why I needed to learn how to chill out and appreciate humor. Slide 1 featured a meme of a clown putting on makeup with my name plastered over it. Slide 2, a bullet point listed titled, "Why Your Overreaction is Hilarious." Slide 3 was titled, "How I'm Clearly the Comedian in This Relationship." At this point I was too stunned to speak, but then he pulled out slide 6. "Things you can do while not cooking, because you were mad." The audacity, right? It was as if he'd really thought he'd win me over with a next level presentation. Spoiler alert, he did not. So I did what any rational, PowerPoint loving person would do. I made my own. I stayed up all night crafting a presentation called "Why It's Time to Move On, a Farewell Guide." It had everything. Flowcharts mapping his incompetence in the kitchen, pie charts illustrating my happiness before and after the great presentation debacle, and my personal favorite, slide 9, a gif of Gordon Ramsay yelling, "Get out." This morning I sat him down and went through my PowerPoint with the same energy he'd given me. His reaction was priceless. He started with that same smirk but lost it somewhere around slide 4. Top 10 reasons you're moving out today. By the time I got to the resources for finding your own apartment slide, he was packing a bag. Now, before anyone worries, yes, he did actually leave, and no, I didn't even have to threaten him with slide 12, which was just a photo of me blocking the Wi-Fi router. So yeah, we broke up, and I'm single, happy, and cooking meals for myself without any critique except my cat's judgmental stare. Ooh dear. And to those who said I should make a breakup PowerPoint, just know, your wish has been fulfilled. I can't believe how all this went down over the course of one single weekend, but I now feel pretty good about myself. Thanks for all your comments and support. Yes, on fun fact, some of you were right. He is actually a business consultant, so making PowerPoint presentations is quite literally his day job. I guess he took bringing work home to a whole new, unwelcome level. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in that situation and watch that go down, just to watch the expressions on someone's face while they're looking for a slide. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Pink Bubbles 45 and says, "Groom told the bride he's not sure if he wants to be married to her at their wedding." Alright, was just maid of honor in a wedding that ended in an absolute shit show and have to tell someone about it. Because I don't even know what to do or if I should do anything about this. I'm at a total loss. This was a first for me. My childhood friend was getting married today to a high school sweetheart. The wedding was a long time coming. They've been together 6.5 years and share a 2-year-old son together. They've been engaged for 3 years now because they delayed planning the wedding after she unexpectedly got pregnant with their son. So now the wedding was finally here. Earlier this year, she set a date and started planning. I was engaged myself this year and got married in July, and originally was just supposed to be a regular bridesmaid. The bride's sister was supposed to be the maid of honor, but they had a falling out. Basically, the bride would always call her sister, ranting about her fiancé every time they would fight, which caused the sister to form a pretty negative opinion of him. Sister lives across several states away and doesn't see everything that goes on here. Her mind jumped right to abuse, and she told the bride if she marries him, she's not coming to the wedding. Now, here's the thing. Their relationship isn't perfect. They're young. They went through a lot very quickly and are very young. Getting engaged, unexpected pregnancy, moving in together, all happened very fast. They fought a lot. I had my concerns at first, but after spending a lot more time with them, I saw how much they genuinely loved each other, parented their son together well, and were working towards a future together. The bride and I have been close friends for so much of our lives. She is like family to me. I care for her deeply. When she asked me to step in as maid of honor, I said yes for those reasons. Cut to today, the wedding day. Everything was going well. Groom was getting emotional when they did their private vows, and before walking down the aisle, he was still wiping tears. It warmed my heart. Looking back now, I wonder what the heck was going through his head. Not sure they were tears of joy. As the night went on, the bride mingled and danced with her family. She had so much family that traveled from many states away to be here, and she wanted to be a good hostess to them. The groom was usually off talking with his own family when she was doing this, but for the most part they stayed together. They sat together, ate together, danced to a few songs, played the shoe game. Shoe game? What's the shoe game? Then they were mingling separately with their families. Didn't think that was a big deal, as this is often how receptions go. With so many people, they're pulling you in opposite directions. At one point, they both went inside the venue. Reception was outside for a while, and then she came out alone. She continued to chat with family, and then after a little bit, realized he was nowhere to be found. After a while of searching, we found him wandering around outside, going for a walk. Bride was pretty distraught at this point. I will add, the groom did have a good amount to drink during the party. Apparently, when they went inside the venue, he was angry at her for not spending enough time with him during the party, and said they were hardly together the whole night. Once he got back from his little walk, they were just arguing inside their room, I guess. At this point, a lot of guests were leaving, and the ones left, me, my husband, the rest of the wedding party, and their immediate families, didn't really know what to do. We were supposed to do a big send-off for them, so we're just kind of waiting for that. We packed up all the stuff, broke down all the tables and chairs, loaded it in the cars, and just waited. Me and the other bridesmaids pulled her aside to talk, but she was pretty deflated at this point. Apparently the groom had taken his ring off and told her he wasn't sure he wanted to be married to her at their wedding. Mind you, they've been together for 3 years, they share a child, they've been dating since 2018. Nothing about this was rushed other than maybe their ages. They are quite young, but I never thought of them as immature until this stunt he pulled at their wedding, over not spending enough time together at the reception. Like, sorry, why not just leave her side then? I just don't understand at all. We finally decided to just load their stuff in their car and tell them it's all loaded, and they should probably go ahead and go get some sleep before their flight tomorrow. At the car, we hugged goodbye and I left to come home. This girl is one of my absolute best friends. I hate that her beautiful wedding was ruined by her husband being petty and stubborn. She was in tears and distraught on her own wedding day. It's just awful. I don't really know where to go from here. If this is at all normal and something they will get past, or if this is more serious. I genuinely am rooting for them, but this whole situation just has me sitting in my car feeling confused and worried for my friend. They're leaving for their honeymoon tomorrow. I don't feel it's an appropriate time to reach out to try and talk to her about all of this. Any advice is appreciated, I guess. I'm thinking I check in via text a few times when they're traveling / on the honeymoon and make sure it's going okay. Make plans to see her when she gets back. We can debrief everything then if she wants to get into it. Starting to think the sister might have been onto something. So as always, there were some relevant comments with reply from the OP, which the first commenter comes from Nightwoman Cometh, who says, there's a lot of problems here. 1. The sis was onto something. If the bride is constantly calling her with complaints and fights, the groom is not a good fit for her. 2. The groom was drunk. This took his feelings from a 3. Hey, can we spend the reception together, to a 10. You were dead to me because you're ditching me at our wedding night for totally reasonable reasons. 3. Sounds like this wedding spat was just a representation of chronic issues between them. If this relationship is going to last, they need to see a therapist. This is beyond your aid, unfortunately. Personally, I wouldn't text or say anything today or tomorrow. She is probably distraught. They need to work out some things on their honeymoon. Maybe check in with her when she's back, or she'll reach out to you if she needs advice. That's what I would want anyways, but you know her best. Warren Finn says, literally this. I think when you said the sister doesn't see everything that goes on, / I do, you are off by a lot. You're seeing the smoke show. The sister is hearing about the reality. Opie says, see, I'll add a little context here though. I grew up with the bride, and besides her sister, I'm probably the only friend she has that is her friend. I did not know her husband before they got together, and still didn't know him super well before she got pregnant. Her other friends are all extensions of him somehow. His siblings and in-laws, his friends' girlfriends. I feel like a lot of the issue is that she needs more people to actually talk to. Her sister will always take her side. His family will always take his side and shrug things off as that's just how he is. I've just tried my best to be somewhat of a Switzerland presence for her. She knows I support her, but in that, I also support a relationship. And I know marriage is hard, especially with kids, so I try to support them both. Legitimate says I have so many questions, just trying to understand the dynamics of this group. 1. In what scenario did she not grow up in the same house as her sister? 2. What were his parents doing at the reception, and were they aware of his hissy fit? 3. Is it safe to assume that his parents were still there at the end? 4. What were her parents doing at the end? 5. Who had their child? Opie said 1. Half-sisters through adoption by dad. 2. His parents sat at their own table and didn't seem to care about mingling with her family, but I don't want to jump to conclusions as to why. 3. His parents were still there at the end, and his dad looked really disappointed when helping us load their car. I pulled his mum aside and asked her to go talk to her son because she may be the only one he listens to right now. She did talk to him and was the one who ended up getting him to come out of his room. I don't know what was said. 4. Her parents were helping clean up, and I don't think they knew the full extent of what was going on. They were still talking to guess. It wasn't until the next day when I talked to both of them that I realized they were not aware of what the groom said about being unsure about the marriage, taking his ring off, etc. They thought they had a little spat that got resolved quickly before they left. 5. Groom's mum had the baby most of the time, and towards the end of the night he fell asleep in the groom's sister's arms. He went home with the bride's parents that night because they are watching him while they go on honeymoon. And I felt pretty much the same with the comments. I'm not sure I'd get myself involved in that immediately, like maybe checking on them a bit further down the line is the right way to go about it, but I think jumping in immediately like that is just potential to cause even more drama and then have yourself involved with it. Sounds very, very messy, but Opie came in with their update and said it's been a week now and a lot of people asked for an update. Some people on my original post were very adamant this relationship was abusive, citing red flags, research evidence, and personal anecdotes that this story reminded you of. There were also several comments saying I was overreacting, the groom was just drunk, and they will probably be fine. I want to clarify some things from my original post. While my friend, the bride, does have her sister, she was the only child grown up in our house. In many ways, she truly is an only child. She's at least the only child of her mother. She already had a small circle. Her family lives all over the country and is not involved very much in her life. That was not the groom's doing. He did not isolate her. Secondly, I'd like to clarify their ages because I didn't mention them in my last post. They started dating at 15 and 16 and got married at 21 and 22. Part of the reason I omitted it originally is because I didn't want people jumping to conclusions about their relationship because of their ages. There's a lot of stigma about getting married young, especially on Reddit. And I get it, the odds are stacked against you. That's why I decided to put their ages in now, because I realize it's important to understand they really do have so much growing and learning to do still. Now, on to the update. It's pretty short. She Snapchatted me later that night after they got to the hotel and said as he began to sober up, he was realizing all that he ruined and was very apologetic. He realized they didn't get to do their last dance, their send-off, the bouquet and garter toss. She said he was crying. They talked it out and she said it sucks that their wedding ended that way. But it was amazing up to that point, and the important thing is that they're married and going to spend the rest of their lives together. She said they're going to work past it. And I asked how. Do you have a plan? Just want to be sure. She said they will work on their communication skills, and once again I recommended therapy. She said they'd talk about it and consider it. Then they were off on their honeymoon, and seemed to be having a great time. I've checked in a bit when she has Snapchatted me some pics, and they're doing well. She knows she can always come to me, and she knows I support her no matter what. Right now, I'm going to do everything I can to help uplift them as a couple and help them form some better communication habits. Her sister didn't support her choice to stay with him, and that's why sister is not in her life anymore. I don't want that. I will support her choice, period. A few key takeaways. Be careful drinking on your wedding day. You don't need that much. The last thing you want is to get drunk on your wedding day and say or do something stupid as a result that you can't take back. One commenter put it really well. You may be able to overlook your partner's ugly parts now, but are you willing to let this be your life if they never change? I know there's a lot of people in this subreddit that are getting married, so hope someone can learn something from this story. Someone was pointing out about the Snapchat usage, and OP came in and said, you know what's crazy is I think she likes to use Snapchat because it disappears after 24 hours, so he can't see it if he goes through her phone, which he has done. He's very controlling. And then people accusing OP of defending their relationship and basically having to go at the sister. And OP said, no, I apologize for any misunderstanding that got caused by my writing. I don't disagree with the sister. I ended my original post by saying the sister seemed to be onto something. I've spoken with her sister on multiple occasions, and I don't necessarily think she was wrong in her feelings. It's just her actions I disagree with because it further isolated my friend. She needed her sister to be happy for her at the wedding. And if and when this marriage ultimately fails, she will need her sister to be there for her. Instead, she's not in her life because she chose to cut herself out. That's what I disagree with. It's not about guts. In fact, I think that what I'm doing, being supportive, even though I think she deserves so much better, is much harder. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.